Hello, everyone. This is Dale Cantrell with Meridianville Holiness Church. I want to bring you a sermon. And the way my mind's running, it's not an original idea. I saw a commercial that was talking about just okay is not okay, and that's what I believe. Not to be ordinary when you could be extraordinary. The commercial, a man's about to have surgery, and he asked the nurse about that doctor, and she said he's okay. You don't want your doctor just to be okay. You don't want your minister just to be okay. You want them to be excellent. Over in the 12th chapter of 1 Corinthians, the last verse, I think it's the 31st, he said, and yet I show you a more excellent way. So that's what we need. We don't need, in the talents, he had the parable of the talents, Jesus did, and there was 5 talents, 2 talents, and 1 talent he gave away, and the 5 gained 5 more, and he was pleased with that, and the 2 gained 2 more, and he was pleased with that. And the 1 went and hid his talent in the earth because he wanted to keep it clean, and he knew that the Lord was a hard man. So I think your minister needs to be excellent. When I'm flying in an airplane, I never get to meet the pilot. I don't get to see his credentials. If I ask the stewardess, is this pilot good? And she said, well, he's okay, I'd be real leery. And if she said, well, he's good on takeoffs, but landings, he's just not the best, I'd be trying to get off that plane. So heard a story. It's been told different ways, and I've told it several times, but this eagle's egg got mixed up with a chicken's eggs, and he hatched out, and he thought that the chicken was his mother and then his little siblings, and all they did was just jump up off the ground about 2 feet, and they would peck on the ground. So that's what he did. And one day, a beautiful eagle flew over, and he was just amazed, and he said to his mother, "Mother, what is that magnificent bird?" And she said, "That's an eagle, son." He said, "Oh, to be an eagle." She said, "Yeah, but you're a chicken, and you'll always be a chicken. You won't never be nothing but a chicken. You could be an eagle if you wasn't such a chicken." My sister-in-law, my brother, he's already passed away, but he was in the hospital for a procedure, and there were some of us in the waiting room waiting, and they all left except me and my sister-in-law, and she was the assistant superintendent for Gwinnett County Schools, and she was telling me the programs they had was excellent. She said academically, if you wanted to do better, they would send a tutor down there. I think maybe like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then if you were, their sports were, they had elite sports, and she said if you wanted to excel in sports, they'd send somebody down to the weight room with you 6 or 7 in the morning. So that's the way God is. He wants you to be excellent. Get down on your knees. He'll meet with you in the mornings, and he'll try to get you a more excellent way. I know when Jesus was in the house and the woman came through, the woman had the alabaster box of ointment and broke it and poured it on his head, I think it was. But she broke it. She didn't open it. If she opened it, she could have closed it, but she broke it, meaning that she was going to use all of it. If you're casual, you may wind up being a casualty. Good is the enemy of great. And what would you, if you had your life to live over again, what would you do different? And that's what you need to be doing. In the cemetery, there are people that are there that that's the end. They went there with apologies that needed to be made and things that need to be done. But okay is not good enough, I don't think. I think we should live full and die empty. Every job is a self-portrait of the one that did it. So autograph your work with excellence. No one is interested in following ordinary. We want to follow extraordinary. I might do with an average barber, a pretty good barber, but I want my minister and my church to be excellent. Aristotle said excellence is not an act, it's a habit. You can't be successful on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and take off Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. In the South we have a saying, and we say we're fixing to. Seems like we're always fixing to, but we never get around to actually doing something. We're just always thinking about it and planning it. It's time for action. Some people has never had put their whole being in anything. And if my wife and I, when we got married, if we was coming up to the house where we were going to live, and I got out of the car and I had my bag, and I looked around at her and she don't have a bag. And I say, honey, where's your bag? And she said, well, I just thought I'd just wait and see how this went. It's not going to work. You have to put 100% in what you do. Actually, marriage is not 50-50. It's 100-100. I know you probably knew that. So if we hear well done, it's going to have to be well done. I used to interview people. I had 13 men, and I would interview them, and then I'd take the best ones to the owner of the company, and he would interview them. And every time I interviewed somebody, I never had somebody say, hey, I'm not going to do anything. I'm sorry as they come, but I want to be paid. They didn't give me that kind of story. They said they were the best. It turned out that they was pretty sorry, some of them, but so did you tell God when you was seeking him that, pick me, Lord, pick me, but I'm not going to do anything, but pick me? No, you don't tell him that. And we have to chase excellence. I've got a sign in my office that says, shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you will land among the stars. And I believe in miracles. I've seen several miracles. Little children, 2 years old and older. Maybe the 7 or 8 years old was the oldest one I'd seen. But they started talking. One little girl was about 7, and they had taught her to talk on her hands. So that it indicates to me that they're thinking that that's going to be a long-term thing. And myself, I want to see more of that. So I've told the story. I'm going to tell this, and maybe I'll be through with this video. My grandson, he's 33 years old, but when he was little, I was much younger. I was about in my early 40s, and he was an action guy. He liked to ride my back. He liked to wrestle. He liked to crawl on the floor like an army man, and I could stand that so long. And then I'd need a break, and I'd say, can we just sit down and do anything? And he was action, and he'd say, no. And I'd say, I didn't know what to do, but I thought maybe, we could play school. I didn't know how we'd go about it, but he said, no, we don't want to play school. I said, did you bring anything in your bag that we could do, that we could sit down? And he said, Nintendo. Well, I wasn't that interested in playing Nintendo, but I thought that if we did that, I could sit down. So he said, I'm going to put it on 2 players. He's about 5 years old and hooked that thing up to the TV. He said, I'm going to put it on 2 players. I got 2 controllers. This is yours, this is mine. He said, you go first. It was Mario Brothers. And I was going down the road, and monsters came and ate me right away, and I was out of the game. It became his time. And when he got to going, he went down that road, and no monsters ate him. Next thing I know, he was on a boat, a motorboat, and then he was on an airplane. I never would have saw the motorboat or the airplane had he not shown me that there was another screen. So what I'm trying to say to you and to me is there are other screens in this thing. If somebody came back from the 1800s and met me And I started describing the things that came after their time. And I talking about a fax machine. I said you can put a piece of paper in it here in Alabama, and then it'll come out in California in 18 seconds or less. They could not get a hold of that. They couldn't get a hold of a cell phone or whatever, but that doesn't make it where it's not valid. Whether you believe it or not, or I believe it or not, there's things from God that we're not getting, and they are available. And if you're interested in, I'd like to help you. So I'll say to you, this is Dale Cantrell with Marieville Holiness Church. I didn't come to replace your minister or keep you from replace you getting to go to church, just only supplement. So if you getting help from this, pass it on to someone else. So this is Dale Cantrell with Marieville Holiness Church saying, until we do this next time, may God richly bless you.